What is up, people? It is me, Monster58, and welcome back to another video review. Today we're going to be taking a look at the SH Figuarts, essentially 3.0 Super Saiyan Son Goku from the Frieza saga, when he obviously finally turned Super Saiyan for the very first time, one of the most iconic scenes in anime, and then beats the absolute piss out of Frieza. So, when it comes to this figure, I want to point out in the disclaimer that I have never owned the 2.0 figure, nor have I ever owned, I believe, the very original, like, first SH Figuarts Super Saiyan Son Goku. The only reason that picking this guy up is because of all of the pictures that they showed seem extremely promising, and I was like, this is a figure that I'm thinking of getting because there was a lot of rumors floating around that there was going to be a full power final form Frieza that was going to be released and made, and lo and behold, that was true, and I'm glad I bought this figure. So, when it comes to the box, obviously you do have some very nice artwork here, well, a product shot of the actual figure himself, with his new sort of facial expressions that they made. Obviously, got the Dragon Ball Z, because this is in Dragon Ball Super, the Toei logo, you got the Tamashii Nations, the Bandai, obviously the Son Goku right there, the Super Saiyan, Son Goku Legendary Super Saiyan, SH Figuarts right there at the top. Spin around here on the side, you do just have some more of that titling here, Super Saiyan Son Goku Legendary Super Saiyan. More product shots here on the side as well. You can see he does come with this effect part, which we'll go over. Very nice. More nice product shots there. And then finally on the back, again, very nice product shots showing you all of the goodies that come with this figure and how it's changed essentially from the 2.0 figure. So my apologies if I don't have that 2.0 figure, but it wasn't personally worth my money, especially at the time and with things that I've been collecting. So without further ado, let's get this guy out here and see how he is. Ladies and gentlemen, here we have him out of the box, and I gotta say, right straight out the gate, this is an amazing figure. Is it perfect? Absolutely not. This is not a perfect figure in any stretch. There are a few things here and there that do frustrate me with this figure. Well, not super frustrating, but just I have issues with it. But other than that, I'm going to say this right now. I recommend you guys pick this guy up. This guy is a brilliant figure, and especially when it comes to the accessories, that is definitely a highlight of this figure. But taking a look at this figure up close, as you can see, this guy looks extremely good. This does look better from I did see the 2.0 figure in stores, like at Barnes and Noble and stuff like that. Other stores, like if you guys know what FYE is, it's another store that you tend to find in the mall. Kind of like, I believe Lunchbox is the other one that's very similar. They sell a bunch of anime stuff, just a bunch of like nerd stuff, right? Let's be real, that's what they sell. And so I did see it in those stores, but again, I never really wanted to pick it up, never really needed it, especially because a few months ago, or actually a few months ago, like a year ago, we got that re-release of just the regular Super Saiyan Goku with his full gi on. I believe that's meant to be emulated from, you could emulate it either from like the Android saga, or you could emulate it mainly for the Buu saga, like base Super Saiyan Buu saga Goku. But taking a look at the details here, as you can see, the face sculpt is fantastic. You can tell that what they really focused on besides the body was mainly that facial expressions, getting that anime accuracy, and I think they nailed it here. You can see the hair also very, very well done. Got some little shading here, right here at like sort of the base of some of his hair. You can see very, very nice molding, very similar to what we've seen, but this is obviously emulating what we saw in the Frieza saga, and if you guys pay attention to the show, and if you've watched it, you'll notice that in the original Saiyan saga, or the Frieza saga, that the hair was much more, I don't know, it changed designs as the anime went on, as the show went on. Very slightly, but it did change. But this is obviously to emulate that. I think it looks great. Again, that face looks absolutely fantastic. You can see that. Looks really, really good from all angles. I'm just very, very happy with it. Now, the main issue that someone pointed out, I believe Anthony's Customs pointed this out, because I do watch him also for Figuarts reviews, specifically the Dragon Ball stuff. One thing he pointed out that he had a big issue with, and I also understand the issue, and I totally agree with it, is the chest. Here, if you look, it's really it's kind of easy to tell on my phone camera here, or well, on my camera. But what you can tell is you can see that the chest is a very much different color from the arms, the abs, and the other arms. And even here on the back, you can definitely see, like especially in this light, you can see the discoloration or the miscoloration between this as well as this. That is from a distance. This figure doesn't really show that off. Like in my light with the settings on my camera, unfortunately, yeah, that does come across. But in hand, I'm literally sitting back right now in my chair looking at this. This doesn't look from a glance that it's all that much discolored, but as you get closer and closer, yes, the discoloration becomes very apparent, and that is unfortunate. And I think at least this figure isn't in the 80, 90, $100 range, because if it was in that range, then I would have had an even bigger issue. Because since it's around $65 from where I bought it on Big Bad Toy Store, it's not as egregious. But at the same time, come on, Bandai, match these. Like, I understand maybe it's more matching the face as well, but for the most part, guys, you gotta match these. It still looks really good, don't get me wrong. The molded in detail is fantastic, because you can see his abs look extremely good, his chest looks very good, all the musculature is very much improved from the last one. Same thing here on the back, all that musculature is very nice. And then going down here, you can see very nice, ripped clothing, ripped for the, his sweatbands on his arms, as well as the shading here. You can see the shading here on the gi pants here. More shading coming down here. You can see the very nice ripped effect, right? I think it looks really, really good there. And you can take a look at the shoes. Shoes obviously look very, very good. Overall, this is really good. It's just that the discoloration, the aesthetics of this figure look good. That discoloration definitely hurts. It doesn't make or break the figure for me, but at the same time, I can definitely see people having a big issue with it. And I totally understand that. And so, because there's really nothing else to really show, let's go into the comparisons real quick. So, we are going to set the 3.0 Goku off to the side here. Here he is with the recently released SH Figuarts Turles, I forget the name in Japanese off the top of my head. That'll come across on screen right now. And what it says on the box. But as you can see, these two are pretty much the same in height. I believe they probably took some of the engineering from this, although you can see I think the legs are pretty much exactly the same on these guys, so I'm guessing they sort of used Turles not only as obviously a movie character that they could release, but also as a sort of test run to make this guy, which makes sense in my mind. But as you can see, they're both exactly the same height for the most part. I have Goku leaning a bit here, which is why Turles looks a bit taller, because that's also one issue I have, is this guy, sometimes trying to stand him is a pain in the nuts. But again, these two look very good together. Obviously, Goku never went Super Saiyan in the movie with Turles, but he did go like a fake Super Saiyan at one point in the Slug movie. So, very, very nice overall, though. Alright, folks, and here we have him with the sort of recently released Final Form Frieza. And yeah, this is about the scale that I expect. Goku was much, much taller than Frieza. There's the scene, I'll throw it up on screen right now. It's that scene when they first start fighting each other, when obviously Dende got killed, and they both like they're fighting in the water, and then they end up standing on this like very thin piece of land that they happen to not break. I'll throw a picture of that on screen, so you guys can see the actual height difference between the two. But this I think works very well. Again, Frieza's a very small character. Remember that, especially in the anime, they made it a point to say that Frieza's a tiny character, but oh my god, is he incredibly strong. So I think this works very well, and I cannot wait to get the final form full power Frieza to display alongside this guy for arguably one of the most iconic rivalries in all of anime. And finally, because I recently reviewed this guy, and obviously, well, the last review was this guy, but the other reason being a lot of you are also Transformers collectors. Just to give you an idea of how big this guy is, here he is with the Transformers Reactivate 2-Pack Deluxe Soundwave. Again, Goku's about the size of an average Transformers Deluxe, but obviously there's more detail and stuff with this guy. But overall, this is a scale just to show you guys in comparison to other figure lines how big Goku is. All right, finally, let's get into the articulation before we get into the accessories. So for the articulation, it's very, very good. So you do have a ball joint at the base of the head, so you can get all of your juicy movements. You can look down really far. You can look up very, very far. You can do a full 360. For the arms, you do have an out, you do have an in, you do have way more than 90 degrees at the elbow, and you do have a butterfly joint. It's not the most robust butterfly joint, but you do get a very nice one. You do get an ab crunch, so you can dip pretty far, and then you can dip pretty far back, so you get some pretty decent range of motion there. Then you get a forward kick, you obviously get a backward kick. You have a little bit of waist articulation, well, sorry. You can do a full 360, which I find absolutely insane for a Figuarts figure. But you do get full forward, decent back. You obviously get way more than 90 at the knee, and then you do have ankle rocker, both because it's a ball joint, so you get it forward, and back. And then you get the side to side. Now this is where I do have an issue. Sometimes with this figure in particular, like especially in comparison to other Figuarts figures, as you guys can sort of tell already, that this guy can be a little annoying to stand up. Now it's all also the idea of knowing how these figures stand in general, but I'm going to be honest with you. Out of all of the other figures, especially Goku ones that I've received and that I currently own, the only one that's given me this much trouble when it comes to standing is the original. I mean, it's the Super Saiyan Goku that they re-released like about a year ago. The like $40 Super Saiyan Full Gi Goku. That's, you know, the one supposed to emulate the one from the base form Super Saiyan in the Buu Saga. But yeah, it's not a big deal. Like once you get him to stand, he's really rock solid for the most part. It's just sometimes getting him to stand, those ankle joints, specifically on my copy, really aren't like the greatest. They don't exactly hold him up extremely well. Alrighty, folks, and on to the accessories. And as you can see, Goku comes with a fair bit. First things first, let's go over the hair pieces. So you have this one hair piece that's supposed to emulate, like, it's as you'll see when I change this out. Basically, it's supposed to emulate that scene when he powers up and that his hair just gets thrown back because of his ki. Very, very nice here. And then you get a whole new hair piece. Now, when it comes to the differences between this one and the regular one, I think the main one is giving you the ability to essentially put this one on. Like this hairpiece is specifically meant to go either on this one or the other one. I believe this one is meant to go on this one because of how this one is shaped. So it's not necessarily the best. Like this isn't the best piece to put on that hair. But this looks very, very good, and you'll see what I mean again when I actually put some of these faces on. And then you do get another a hairpiece very similar to, you know, Super Saiyan 2 in a way, but as you can see, very nice hairpiece again to emulate some scenes from the anime, which makes a lot of sense. You get some really nice face, alternate faces, so you have this gritty teeth face, so you can see the angry, like, right, like that face, very, very well done, as you can see. Let me see if I can get the camera to focus on that, but looks, yeah, there we go, looks very, very, very nice. Very happy with that one. Then you have the screaming one, and this is really well sculpted. I think they did a brilliant job sculpting this and getting that right. This looks really, really cool. And then finally we have more of a smirk, which is really, really nice. Obviously this is to emulate when Goku gets cocky, when he powers up and is absolutely beating the ever-living crap out of Frieza. So very, very nice there as well. And then you do have your assortment of hands, so you do have sort of these, like, some more fighting pose hands here, like so. You have some like fighting pose slash blast effect hands that you could use, so these are also very nice as well. Then you have the Kamehameha ones, and obviously these are to go with the Kamehameha effect, which I'll show you here in a second. And then you have more, primarily these are blast effect hands. These are very nice as well. Very standard though for the SH Figuarts Dragon Ball line. And then finally you have some more fighting pose hands. So you do have a lot of different options. And the last thing I'll show you is the Kamehameha charge effect. This looks really, really cool. Very similar to all the ones we've received in the past. So essentially you just have some pegs on these little things, and then you have the holes there in the center of these things or around these things, and then you just gotta line them up, and then you just gotta stuff them in, and these are really cool. And then you also have the peg there where the hand goes in. What I recommend is when you put this in, I definitely recommend you put the hand in first and then attach it to him. So let's get into changing some of his faces out. So to change his face out, very simple. What I like to do, you remove the hair piece first, and then you remove the face face piece next. So let's do this hair piece. So let's get this on. So just easily slots on like this. So you do have a peg hole right in there, and then you do have the ball joint right there. So just gotta push it on like so, and then we'll put on, let's say, the yelling face, and then we'll put on the face like this. As you can see, this is obviously meant for him to, be for him to power up like that, and it looks really, really good. This does look a bit funky, and now that I'm looking at it on camera, because I actually haven't looked at it on camera yet, it does look a bit funky, but I'll tell you in person, it looks really, really nice for that effect of him, like, powering up, especially like they show it, when he goes essentially like this, and then he looks up, and then he's powering up like this. Like, I think that looks really, really, really cool, and I think especially from a distance on the shelf, this will look absolutely fantastic. Another thing you can do, so to swap out the hands, very simple. Just what I like to do is sort of very carefully bend those up, and then you can pull the hands right off. And if you want, like, the other hands, you can just very easily just, for example, here's one of the fighting pose hands, and you can just, like that. There we go. Sorry. Took a little bit of doing there, but as you can see, those go on perfectly well, and then you have all of the range of motion. Oh, sorry, I forgot to say that in the articulation. Ball joints at the wrists. You can do whatever with those. My apologies, and you do have an upper bicep rotation here as well. I'm sorry. I'm completely sorry about that. I don't know how that slipped my mind. My mind's been pretty scatterbrained lately, so again, my apologies. But getting the fist back on. So to do the Kamehameha effect, actually, I don't know why I put this back on. We'll remove the two fists. What I like to put on the backhand, I like to put the not peg hand. So what I like to do is I'll grab this hand, and we'll put that on. And I think that this is a great Kamehameha hand. Oh, excuse me, not this one. This one. This hand right here, this one right here where it's curved, another fighting pose hand, or blast effect hand. I like to do this, and you can put this on, and then what we'll do, let me grab the Kamehameha fix, we'll set him off there. So again, what I like to do is to take the actual hand, and then you can just, again, there's the peg right there, and then you do have the hole right there, and then you just do something like this, right? So make sure the hand fits over it pretty decently. Yep, like that. And then what I'll do is we'll grab Goku. We'll plug this in. Alright, sorry about that. We were able to get that. So then what you can do is you turn this like this. You can do something like this. And obviously you can have him charging up the Kamehameha. Very, very cool. It's really, I love it when Bandai adds these. Godzilla. But I really do like it when Bandai adds stuff like this, because you really are able to emulate some of the most iconic scenes from this show using these little pieces that they give you, because, my God, it's really nice to be able to recreate them for the people who would like to recreate them. And so, guys, for my final and concluding thoughts on the SH Figuarts, essentially 3.0 Super Saiyan, Legendary Super Saiyan, Son, Goku, although I think Legendary Super Saiyan's a bit redundant because, Broly. But I understand why, because that's literally, it's the legend, the legend of the Legendary Super Saiyan, right? So, very good all around. Again, it's not perfect. It has its issues. Sometimes standing up can be a pain in the nuts, and I worry how much those ankle ball joints will last over time. The discoloration on the chest is also a bit annoying on that, and sometimes removing and adding, like putting the hands on, really can be a little bit annoying, especially it feels bad sometimes to push as hard as you kind of have to, put some of the different accessories on, specifically on the ball joints on his hands. But other than that, the articulation is very, very good. The sculpt is also extremely very nice. He poses extremely well when it comes to how you can get him. The facial expressions and the paint are on point when it comes to those. I think that the hair looks great. Again, they nailed those facial expressions, and he comes with a wide array of hands, like a lot of different hands. So overall, this figure is really, really awesome, and I definitely recommend you pick it up. So Out of a 10, I'll give this an 8.5, because again, I definitely think those issues do have a genuine place in being issues. But other than that, it's overall a really, really solid release from Bandai, and one of the best that I personally think that they've released in a minute. Not to say that their other ones for Dragon Ball haven't been good, but this one, in my opinion, is certainly very, very good and better than pretty much most of the ones they've released recently that I've personally picked up. So if you want to pick yours up, I did pick mine up on the Big Bad Toy Store. I'll leave a link in the description to that. I have no idea if you can get this on P Bandai. I don't think you can anymore. But I will still look, and I will leave a link in the description to P Bandai if you can still pick it up. But other than that, I think that's really about it. So thank you guys so much for taking the time to watch this video. Please like, comment, rate, and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. Also follow me on the socials. Those will be linked in the description below. And with that, guys, I thank you so much once again for watching this video, and I'll catch you all in the next one. Hope you all have a wonderful day. Peace.